Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy P Funk, thinking right out here in my lab, doing what I do for you, giving life lessons. And here's another life lesson. I hope I can get through this one without crying. It's gonna be tough. You know what that means? Talk about my mom. Let's go. Radism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I greatly appreciate it. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practiced daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. Excuse me. Right know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my be true, which is mama in real life. Right thinkers, I'm sure you all agree. There is no love like a mother's love for her child. If you don't have that mother, that's a you problem. I got one. So let's talk about it. And it's funny because I took my mom for granted for a long time. So I'm gonna give her a due. I gotta let her know she good. All right, I'll keep it there. All right, I don't want to get too mushy, so let's start out with the Egyptian goddess, which is Nut. She represents heaven. It's this lady with starry decked heaven coming over Gab. Gab. Nut is on top. That's why I say in sexual position, fellas, the woman's on top. In any Eastern religion, they tell you the woman on top. Okay, why? The man just sit back and that was Gab. All right, that's the concept, but philosophically. And she's represent heaven. She's the goddess who gave birth to the 5 royal families at the time of 360 days in a year. So she couldn't give birth. Tahuti swindled 5 days out, but these were the 5 days of what? Celebrating the God's birthday. I did that lesson too. But you got Asar, Set, Nephthep, and Haru. So that's another story, good lesson. I just gave you that one. But Nut is the great mother. And after death, if you pass the judgment of Maya, they bring you up. Well, Nut come down to sit at a sycamore tree. She would raise you up to her, bring you up to heaven, so to speak, and put you in her bosom like she did her first son, which is Asar, which is your spirit. So when your spirit die, it goes, that's where it go back to. And Nut was considered the great mother. We got all bunch of females who all considered the great mother. Why? Because they did for their child, the love they had for their child. They would do anything, all right? And the Nut, the great mother of mankind, after death, and if you live a righteous, virtuous life, past scales of Maya, she come and get you, okay? Now, she is the idea of what? Going to heaven. She represents heaven. And my man, my teacher, Dr. Ben, he'd always say, heaven is between a black woman's leg. I don't care what nobody say. And you can't prove him wrong from that concept. All right, that's why he know that. And that's Nut. That's the great mother of all. Okay, that's what we go back to. And we getting it. However, I'm trying to make this, a little educational. I hope I put a message in here. But we talk about mothers. Well, particularly mine, but I'm giving you universal mother. This is the quality that they have. How about that? All right, make it real simple. But a good mother, there you go. That's where we at. And this for all females. I come from a long line of firstborn females. 8 generations from what I hear. But I go back to my great-great-grandmother, great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, my sister, and my niece, and her first daughter. So, strong female genes. My old man dipped in and dropped me in there. So, I think, again, a good mother, what? They know their children. A good mother knows her children that she, what? Birthed and raised. I tell anybody, if I ever wild out and get out of, man, I got kryptonite. I can go Superman, Hulk, yeah, but call my mother. I'll never forget that guy. He was really badass. He about to get into a fight. Somebody said something pissed him off, and he out there grandstanding. My grandmother said, "Plucky, get your ass in this house." My father was like a 5-year-old kid. I laughed, I giggled my ass off. I said, ooh, I know how to get you, right? So now I realize my mother do the same thing. If she say shut up. So, but that's respect and love for your mother. I get it. And like I said, he showed me that, all that. No, she told me shut up, he shut up. So my mother told me shut up, I'm shutting up. Moving on. That's how it's done. If you don't respect your mother, you're going to hell. Why? Because she represents heaven. So you can't disrespect your mother, think they go to heaven. It's all symbolically, okay? But it plays out in real life, or you'd be surprised. They knew what they was doing. But let's talk right now. Mothers have unconditional love for what? Their children. And others, they ain't got to birth you. My mother, man, moving on. But yeah, they just, that's love. I wonder why my house is the damn Salvation Army. Why they can't go to their own house? When I was a kid, I told my mother take people in. I had to freak out. But she told me a story about her grandmother. Not my grandmother, not her mother. Her mother wasn't with that nonsense. My grandmother, no, she wasn't doing that. So she got it from her grandmother because she saw that. Why? She's the only child. So she had a bunch of brothers and sisters because my great-grandmother let everybody come in the house. I used to wonder why all my cousins, right, got different last names, Millers, Scutters, and all out there. They wasn't my family. But that's what we did back in the day. I didn't know. I got more uncles and aunts and my mother and father, both the only child. So that's how I grew up in that environment. But a good mother. I can't speak for no one but myself, and I always do. I always tell you that. Everybody know. I don't do that. Everybody nonsense. I'm speaking for myself. And I think I know me better than the rest. But my mom, she knows. So what's this? I can remember breastfeeding from my mom as a child. I can remember back to 3 years old with some stages in life, but I definitely remember being breastfed. I said, Mom, what? She said, yeah. I said, I remember that. And we laughed. She said, but baby, I didn't know why. I remember in my crib, and we had a fire. And I remember fireman pulled me out. And everybody said, couldn't have been no more than 1, 2 years old. I said, see, we got memories. So that was a little thing we had together. And I remember back in the day, we were so in tune. My mother would call me, baby, everything all right? How did she know that? I got goosebumps because that's how we've been rolling. And it's been that way all my life. She's always been able to know. And if I call on the phone, that's a problem. When I ain't feeling right, I ain't good. I ain't calling my mother, but she called me. So that's the connection. And she know. That's a connection. Why? And she got, and animals, that's instinct. That's pure. But animals don't mess with their kids. My mother's one of them, and I love that. Yeah, okay? But I'm big on what? Both parents being present in the children's life. Why? Because that sets the tone. If I didn't have that guy, and just my mom, she couldn't make me what he did. That's the difference. I realized that. I know that for a fact. So I can't even imagine not having my dude, okay? The essence of who I am come from him. That's the male side. That's the bad side. You just put that tape out. Tales of the dark side. Me and my dad. I followed Darth Vader. The Star Wars concept. Yeah, I understand that. Ain't got time for that. But yeah, we talking about my mom. And wait a minute. She got to balance out. They opposite like ought to be. They what the what? What we talked about that too. But my mother loved that guy. Moving on. I ain't going there. But and I'm always realizing without him, I love her. But I had to. I had to have them both. Moving on. That's why I'm big on them. I was a single parent by choice, whereas I had what they call now majority custody. His mother was around. I just did what? I'm take care of my son. Make my son a man. Simple. That's a man's job. Okay, I ain't got a problem doing that. I don't need no damn support system to tell me that. Moving on. But that's how it was. And again, my mom. Okay, I was a single dad again by situation, but I made my son the man that I wanted him to be through what? Me. He was help. Oh yeah, he part of the project. Yeah, that's the picture back there. That's our family portrait. I gotta get a family portrait with my grandson. Yeah, I gotta make sure to tell my son. I keep thinking about it. I gotta make that happen. All right, but when I look back over my life, I always had my mom to advise me and show me love. I never felt not wanted, never felt not know none of that nonsense. And my mom, she good. What is it? I get to that part. I'm gonna spin it too quick. Let me get out of here before I get emotional. So yeah. And my mom my mom shows me time and time again, she knows her son. And I can do it but just cry. Tears of joy. Why? She know. And it gets mushy. Alright, but my mom knows he can tell from the sound of my voice on the telephone if I'm okay. I tell her, Mom, you good. And I just gotta confess. So she know I keep confessing what's going on in my life. So she's on the ground floor. Bottom line. All right. And I owe all my good qualities, okay, to my mom. I give him credit for the other stuff. And that's fine. That's how it went. She didn't have to do none of that. Why? That was his job. They work together. And watch this. Now that I am what? Let me see what this say. Practicing. The better I get now, I'm starting to be like her. Good. My mother was a good girl. Yes, my mom is on that pedestal. Okay. If you think your mother is just she tops. Simple as that. I put them both up there. No, that's who I never had a problem. Well, who you love more? They don't give me that nonsense. I couldn't be here without either one, so I don't make that choice. Why? I don't have to. It wouldn't happen without both of them. I got both of them. He's over there. She's over there. Simple. I ain't got a problem with that. And again, my mom's on that pedestal of her. She's untouchable. And women, do yourself a favor. Don't pit a man. Make a decision between you and his mother. Hands down, she's going to win. Number one. Moving on, I ain't even going that stuff. But no, that's where the buck lies. Don't do that. Now, I was called a daddy's boy. You know, me and dad lived together. We did all the hustle together. Yeah, so that was cool. Of course, why? I did like him, okay? But really, I know now, I never liked what I was doing. Why? Not that I didn't like it. I didn't like the consequences of what I was doing. It led me to prison. So I have no love for that. Understand that. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't like none of that, but man, it was fun when I was doing it. I keep telling you that. But in essence, I find out I'm a mama's boy. And no one but my mom knows that. Why? She know me. Oh, I never forget my first time my mother came to a sports event. I'm playing park water football. I can hear in the back, "That's my baby. That's my baby." I said, "Mom, you can't come no more." She was wilding out, and back then it was for me that wasn't cool. But yeah, that's how my mom was. Again, proud of her baby. She was proud of me. All right, and that never stopped. All right, she's my first cheerleader. All right, where we at down here? What's this? Now we at? Okay, yeah. Okay, my boy. Okay. My goal in life was to what? Be my best self, and to know myself, and make. I was proud of what I'm doing, but she's always been bragging about me. We grew up with what? We had big dreams. No, not me. I wanted to just make my mom and dad proud. Do stuff, I satisfied him early in life, but we didn't talk about that. All right. But I always wanted to keep my mom. Well, I had a situation in life when I was headed for self-destruction, right? I was, back in the day, they had that pipe, not crack. No. I go before the crack out. Okay, we were doing that basin. We were doing that other thing. And that thing had my face sucked in. I was looking like a skeleton. And my mother looked at me. I never forget. She looked at me and just started crying and said, "Baby, I'm so sorry." At that point, I took responsibility, what? Not to make my mom cry. No more. Why? I'm going to do stuff that's not going to, make her cry. That was my little personal thing for her. And I did that from that point on. Why? I did good. Most of the time in life until what? I went from college to prison. My mom still bragged. I never seen nobody brag about this person's son being in prison. But mom was holding it down. She was there every month. Food package, make sure I was taken care of. That's my ride or die. All right? And I remember, okay, when I was before I got to prison, it was downhill. She saw it coming. She just, okay, but she never gave up on me. She was there every month. She was there the whole time. Okay? That's a ride or die. Okay? She would be my son. Both my parents rode with me, okay, so I was cool. And that's what I promised myself. I ain't trying to make my mom cry no more. So I try to do the right thing. For action. I'm the one doing this stuff. But that's how mothers love. I love that. I said, Ma, I remember that. Okay? And today, she still give me the same love. What's this? That's, okay, I live right. I'm doing right now to show her, yeah, I know you raised me right. If the stuff that I did, if my mother knew, she'd be slapping my face to this day. Why? I didn't teach you that. I raised you better than that. Remember them days? If you did something wrong, you had to answer to your parent. So that was the whole tight walk. It's like, I didn't want Dad in the police. I didn't want his wrath. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. And my mom was just as bad, so, okay, I held to a different standard, so I ain't got a problem with that. Discipline is a must in the household, my people. Stop thinking the kid don't love you if you whoop their ass. They not listen to you, you whoop them. Discipline them. Let them know you do what I tell you to do, not what you want to do. So sorry where that comes from, but yeah, my mom didn't play that nonsense. She would let me fall. She let me run. She said, we'd be next week, right? Okay. No argument. When I break my curfew, it was a wrap. And she never give in. All right, I love her for that. All right, making my mom proud of being my mom. And I was 9 years old. I'm 67 now. I'm still working on it. How about that? That's my goal. Anything else? Okay, but as long as my dude's happy with what I'm doing, I'm good. Okay. When I see my mom's face, my mom, a.k.a. Aset, I call she my girl. She is a true ride or die woman. If she with you, she with you. She ain't bailing, okay? And I know that about her because she been with me my whole life. Moving on. But when I see my mom's face light up, when we meet her, man, it don't get no better than that. It don't get no better than that. So yeah, I experienced what? Unconditional love. And she's good. What's this? Now, I love when she light like a Christmas tree. Every time I see it, it makes me feel so good. What's this? But check this out. She is good. No, not just for me. Why? Because both my brother and my sister feel the same way about her. She make all what? So yeah, we all feel like what? The same way about my mom. I think I'm her favorite. My sister thinks she's the favorite. My little brother thinks he's the favorite. Is she good or what? That's why I give her due. Appreciate you, man. I love you. I could care less about the views. I just want to get that out there for the people who might feel the same way I do about their mothers. Right thinkers. If that ain't how you feel about your mother, I don't know if you can be a right thinker. Just putting it out there. So in closing, may you all live to be 100, be 100 minus a day. So I never know that all my right thinkers who feel the same way I do about their moms and unconditional love have passed away. I'll be right back. I got some more.